And in the past few minutes, our producer Bridget Burke has spoken to the CEO of College Sport, Jim Lonergan. He says that David Hodge from St Kentigern College has asked him to intervene because he's concerned the proposed action of a boycott next year falls outside college sports rules. Mr Lonergan has told us he has received legal advice not to comment while he investigates. So, should schools be able to poach first 15 players from other schools and offer scholarships as incentives? Herschel Fruean runs the website hstop200.com, which ranks schoolboy rugby and basketball players throughout the country. St Kentigern features prominently with the top 20, with Herschel ranking its players 1st, 3rd, 6th and 13th. Herschel Fruean told me a short time ago, if a boy dreams of being an All Black, a scholarship is a great opportunity, and St Kentigern isn't the only school making offers.
I personally see it as a good thing. I see it from a perspective of a boy and their parents, and I see it as a way for a boy to see a better path for the career that he wants to take in life. Some kids want to be lawyers, some kids want to be doctors, some kids want to be, architects or engineers. Some kids want to be rugby players. And that's where we're at right now, is that these kids and the parents want a better pathway for them to be rugby players and to make it. And so these are the ways that are the best to get there right now.
Okay, so what about kids who've been at St Kent's for their whole school career and they might want to play on the team, but St Kent's is looking elsewhere for players from other teams? Is that fair?
Yeah, if you want to win and you want to be the best, and that's what scholarships are for. Scholarships, if no school wanted to do anything like that, they wouldn't have opportunities to give sports scholarships. Sports scholarships are there, and it's given by the board and by the school for that exact reason. It's not to help out a great guy or a nice kid or a kid that helps old people. It's for a kid who is talented at rugby that can lift their program.
That sounds pretty cutthroat, is it?
No, because that's what it's there for. I think it would be cutthroat if you don't have something set aside for that and you're taking it from the maths department to put into rugby. That's pretty cutthroat, but schools have that set aside for that sport, whether it be rugby, basketball, hockey, or even educational scholarships. The money is always there to increase your school's chances to thrive at whatever you want to go for.
But do these private schools have an advantage in that respect? The suggestion may be that they have more resources to set aside to get these players, so they get the best players because they got the most money.
Well, see, even saying the best players there is not necessarily true either, because not the best players get recruited by one school or by 5 schools, because every school in New Zealand can compete. People think that just because they go to one certain school that they're the best player in that position. The New Zealand secondary school selection and barbarian selection proves that alone, that they're not the best person in that position. So to say that someone is the best player going to the best school is not right at all. And it's not right to say that a private school does that, because there's a lot of private schools that are terrible at rugby and they've got the scholarships to get the best rugby players, and it doesn't work. So it's not necessarily just buying a player or scholarshiping a player. It's got a lot to do with everything about it.
So why is St Kent's, I mean, if I look at your rankings, St Kent's you've got as the #1 team on your list, and you've got 4 out of 20 of the top players are St Kent's players. Why? Why are they at the top of the list?
Because they have recruited really well and kids want to go to that school. Remember, a scholarship is something that is offered. It's not something that is forced. So for you to offer me something, like you're offering me this interview, I could say no. But at the same time, if a kid is offered something, they get to decide whether they want to or not. Kids are just deciding that they want to go to St Kentigern's.
I mean, how early are these kids being picked up? What age? Year 8? Year 9? When would they be identified?
No, not year 8 and year 9. Like, I start identifying players when they were in year 11, year 10 and year 11. And that's more just out of a raw talent kind of situation where I think, wow, he was a great player. He was probably the best on the field by then, and I'll just talk about him. other people as well will probably see kids at tournaments, or like when you go to Roller Mills or Ames or what's the other one, Ross Shield, and like little competitions like that deal with intermediate kids. If they get seen, they get seen. So yeah.
So, I mean, your basic position is that why shouldn't these kids maximise what they are good at and have the best opportunities available to them? So these schools that are saying that they're going to boycott playing St Kitts over this issue, is that just sour grapes on their part?
I feel like they're looking at it from a long-term perspective. They're looking at it from that perspective. Like, none of these schools have restrictions on who they can't go after, because Auckland Grammar has guys from outside of Auckland. Mags have guys outside. Sacred Heart, they've got guys from these schools have guys from overseas in different islands. So like, that's not what I think these guys are having a go at. To me, it's just that their perspective is so far that it's like, it's not even really showing up on what they're arguing about. They're talking about the moral part of it, and, you know, the integrity of the 1A was like, really, the general public doesn't know what your guys' stance is on that kind of thing. So to argue that is irrelevant, to be honest.
So should it just be banned, this taking players from other schools, offering them scholarships? Make it easy, just ban it.
If they want to do it that way, then that's fine. But then you're not helping out kids. And that's where my perspective, that's where my point of view comes from, is that scholarships are meant to help kids. So these scholarships are set up to help kids. So if these scholarships are all taken away, then these kids actually don't get the help that they need.
Herschel, what's your message to all these schools who are complaining about how the system's working? What do you say to them?
Think of it from a different perspective of the kid and the parents. Remember, like, a school is still going to be around for the next 10, 20 years. That kid that accepted the scholarship, he's thinking about, I'm year 11, I've got year 12 and year 13 next, and I need to be seen because I want to be an All Black. I want to be a professional rugby player. Some kids are not smart. Some kids are not talented in those different areas of what you have in the classroom, but they're really talented when they get on the field, on the basketball court, on the hockey field, on the cricket pitch. So they accept these scholarships for those reasons. We can't expect these kids to all be scholars when they're not. Some people just have different talents.
And that is Herschel Fruean, who runs the website hstop200.com, which ranks schoolboy rugby players. And we'd love to know what you think about this issue. Is it poaching, or is it just offering these kids the best opportunity available? Let us know what you think. You can text us 2101 or email checkpoint@rnz.co.nz.